Jason Brownlee has an opportunity to help the New York Jets do something that's only ever happened once in NFL history. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite undrafted free agent rookie. But before we get into that, guys, if you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button. 50% of you guys aren't subscribed. It really helps the channel and doesn't cost you anything to do it. So go on down there, hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. But let's talk about Jason Brownlee and how can he help the New York Jets recreate something that's only ever happened in history once. But before we get into that, because I know you guys are going to laugh at me for even bringing this up, but I think that it is a legitimate that he has a legitimate opportunity to do this, and let's talk about why. Jason Brownlee has quickly become a quarterback favorite, a Nathaniel Hackett favorite, and just Jets fan favorite wide receiver, not named Garrett Wilson, when it comes to everything about the offense. He has gotten reps with the threes, the twos, and the ones, and at every level and at every step that he's gotten an opportunity, he has been really, really high up on the progressions and on the reads, and has been a favorite target of the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, even Chris Streveler, everyone is throwing the ball at Jason Brownlee when given the opportunity to, because he is absolutely dominating at camp. Now, the reason that this stands out is, one, because how good our defense is and how good our defensive back room is. It would be one thing if he was showing up and showing out against the threes and only the threes, and when he elevated to play against the twos, he wasn't making catches, he wasn't making receptions, and he kind of just fell off, like we've seen with so many other undrafted free agents. But that's not what's happening to Jason Brownlee. Jason Brownlee is going up against our ones and having opportunities and going up and catching balls and making plays on the offensive side of the ball, which is absolutely phenomenal. And the question is no longer, is Jason Brownlee going to be wide receiver 6, or is Jason Brownlee going to make the 53-man roster? Because he absolutely is. The new question becomes, whose job is Jason Brownlee going to take of the starting top four wide receivers, and how soon? Because Jason Brownlee, I think it's only a matter of time before he starts seeing legitimate usage at the NFL level beyond a certain point. Can he take a job away from Corey Davis, Allen Lazard, or McCole Hardman? Absolutely. Especially when we talk about the problems that all of those guys have had historically and the opportunity that might be created. Corey Davis has not shown us the ability to stay healthy once with his time in the New York Jets. McCole Hardman has a history of injury, and while is also becoming a favorite of Aaron Rodgers, hasn't had a healthy season, from what I understand, since his rookie year in the NFL. And then we talk about Allen Lazard, the big money free agent that we brought in for the wide receiver room, who historically does have an issue when it comes to catching the ball. Just historically, he has a drops issue. Well, if these things continue on into the regular season, we know that Garrett Wilson is going to be wide receiver 1 and is going to be a stud, but I think it is only a matter of time before Jason Brownlee is talked about as wide receiver 4, as wide receiver 3, especially as some of these guys start to fall down the depth chart and other guys start to get their opportunities. And if that happens and he starts showing up the same way that we see him at Jets practice against some of these NFL defenses and all of these things, the question has to be asked: can he legitimately compete for the Offensive Rookie of the Year award? Now, before you start typing away and getting all your Twitter fingers and start yelling at me in the comment section, let's talk about this legitimately. There are 2 players that I think have a legitimate shot of winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and only 2 players: Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Everybody else is a long shot, in my opinion. The reason I think Bijan is probably going to end up winning it, Atlanta Falcons head coach Arthur Smith came from Tennessee, ran one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. The expectation is that with Bijan, a guy that everyone fell in love with, the 8th overall pick, he's going to be able to recreate that level of offensive production. But injuries happen, and all of those things all happen. Breece Hall was on track to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year before he got hurt. We have no idea what's going to happen there. And then Jahmyr Gibbs with that rushing attack in Detroit has an opportunity there as well. But let's talk about the other names that are on this list. Bryce Young with the Carolina Panthers, C.J. Stroud with the Houston Texans, Anthony Richardson with the Indianapolis Colts. All of these are quarterbacks that are on really bad teams that aren't going to win a ton of games and don't have a ton of weapons around them to really shine and excel at the NFL level when they start facing really good defenses. Then we go into the wide receiver rooms. Jackson Smith-Njigba is wide receiver 3 for the Seattle Seahawks, and it's hard to see him getting a ton of playing time over DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, let alone a ton of targets after those two guys. Quentin Johnson with the Los Angeles Chargers is wide receiver 3, and Mike Williams and I forget the other one's name. They're Keenan Allen. They're going to be the number 1 targets as long as they're healthy. And again, this might be a bit of a stretch, but if his role continues to progress that it does, if Jason Brownlee continues to impress as he does, the question is not if, but when is he going to start starting games for the New York Jets? And if that does happen, can he really compete and do something that's only ever happened once in history and win and have the same team win the Offensive Rookie of the Year in back-to-back years? For those of you who are interested, the Detroit Lions did it in 67 and 68, and that's when they created the award. It's the only time it's ever happened in history. Let me know in the comment section below. Am I crazy? Am I just falling into the hype with the Jason Brownlee thing? We'll have to obviously cool our jets and see what happens over the preseason and over the first 6 weeks of the season to see if he continues to progress the way that he does. But as of right now, he is a rocket ship rising up people's depth charts, and it's absolutely warranted. The kid is a star at camp right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.